What's up, Woodlawn, and welcome to the Woodlawn Word. I'm Adrian.
And I'm Julie.
And we're here to give you the scoop about your school.
First up are some announcements to keep you aware of events coming up around our school. Students will begin taking the Leap 360 interim tests in their math classes this week. Also, the PTSA movie night will be right after school this Friday until 5. We will begin our midterm exams next week from December 12th through the 18th, and December 14th, 17th, and 18th will be early dismissal. Carpool riders will need to notify their parents to pick them up at 11:30 on those days. In other news, winter break will be from December 19th through January 6th, and the beginning of the new semester will be on January 7th. Moving into national news, more than 70,000 Americans died from a drug overdose in 2017, setting a new record amid an ongoing public health crisis and contributing to the decline in average life expectancy nationwide. Deaths from drug overdose climbed nearly 10% from 63,632 in 2016 to 70,237 in the U.S. in 2017, according to a report released Thursday by the National Center for Health Statistics, a part of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The president and CEO of the Trust for America's Health says, another year of increasing numbers of drug overdose deaths is a national emergency that can't be overstated. Unintentional overdoses accounted for the majority of drug overdose deaths in 2017 at 80%, report authors noted, while 7% of deaths were suicides, 5% were undetermined, and less than 1% were homicides. The rise in drug overdose deaths, as well as suicides in 2017, were main factors contributing to the ongoing decline in life expectancy in the U.S. since 2014, CDC Director Dr. Robert Redfield said in a statement. These sobering statistics are a wake-up call that we are losing too many Americans too early and too often to conditions that are preventable, Redfield said. We must all work together to reverse this trend and help ensure that all Americans live longer and healthier lives.
Continuing national news, flash floods carrying piles of debris are sweeping through rain-drenched parts of California that were affected by recent wildfires. In Southern California, evacuation orders and flash flood warnings are in effect in some communities affected by the fire, which burned more than 22,000 acres earlier this year. California Fire of Riverside County issued mandatory evacuation orders as thunderstorms have increased the risk of mudslides and debris flows in some areas. The department urged people to keep checking its site for current warnings and orders as boundaries keep shifting.
On to core values, the ones that our school encourages us to live and work by on a daily basis are respect, responsibility, courage, sacrifice, and perseverance.
The core value for the current month of December is relationships. Teachers and students should both work hard to build good, respectful relationships with each other. Teachers should also work to build good relationships with parents and communicate their child's progress. It was Mona Sutphin who said, most good relationships are built on mutual trust and respect. Moving into the weather, today there will be a high of 72 with a low of 44 and a 20% chance of precipitation. Going into tomorrow, the temperature drops with a high of only 57 and a low of 37, and no precipitation is to be expected for the day. As we have been mentioning, the girls and boys basketball teams have started their practice and they now have their schedules. The first home game for Woodlawn will be against South Baton Rouge Charter on January 9th right after school. The cost to enter the game will be $3. If you can, please come out to support both the girls and boys teams after school.
As for local sports, the LSU Tigers played and lost against Texas A&M with a score of 72-74 on November 24th. The Saints played the Falcons on November 22nd, winning with a score of 31-7. They went on to play the Cowboys on the 29th, losing with a score of 10-13. Their next game will be against the Buccaneers on December 7th.
I'd like to end this news segment today with the quote that says, if you are not willing to learn, no one can help you. But if you are determined to learn, no one can stop you. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Woodlawn Word. See you next time.